What it do, YouTube slash Patreon slash BitChute. Today's video, I want to chime in with a quick impromptu video, and I want to talk about the forces of nature. Yes, the forces of nature. So, I always give my disclaimer, aka my 2 cents, and basically, if you're not spiritual, don't watch this video. If you don't have a soul, don't watch this video. You see what I mean? If you think that nature is a joke or nature is a game, don't watch this video. You see what I mean? Because you have some people that take nature for granted, meaning like these big billionaire companies and shit where they fucking destroy a whole plot of land and a whole plot of Mother Nature, like a forest or just anything, just anything that has something to do with nature. They destroy it and they build parking lots and shopping malls and all that type of shit like that. But nevertheless, that's not the topic of the video. It's just, you get what I'm saying. So anyway, Mother Nature, right? You see Mother Nature is all around me. See, the soul comes with information, right? So we already knew this is not information that you could find in a textbook or you could find over the internet. This is real information that comes with the soul. Just like when you buy a new phone, it's already a manufacturer's code that's registered with that phone. You see what I'm saying? It's a code of information. It's a code of information that's registered with each human soul on this planet. So when you're born into this life form, yeah, you have a physical body. That's your physical vessel, which is like the vase that contains that soul, which is that fire, that ether, that flame, right? That spirit, that divine entity. And that's what the body does. It contains that soul, that fire, that mint. And with that soul, right? Every baby that's born or whatever, that's a new soul that's coming in, or a soul that's coming back to change something about the system or to usher in something new, in a good way. So like I said, every new phone that you get, it has a manufacturer's code that's already registered to the phone. That's just like your soul. It already has a code of information that's registered to it. So when you're born in this life, you already know things, or you already could have a divine connection with things, right? So for example, we knew, when I say we knew, as in, people, natural people, divine people, any person, don't matter what skin color you are, all that bullshit, people who have souls, right? People who have ears to hear and eyes to see this information. Like I say, we already knew, just as human beings, that nature has a life force. It has a positive flow of energy, but it also can have a negative flow of energy, which is the world we live in, which is duality, right? And we knew that nature is alive. We know that. You see what I mean? Like just touching these plants and just touching, these sticks or leaves or anything off a plant, or even touching the bark of a tree, you get information when you touch the bark of trees. Most people, that shit ain't real. That shit could be possible. You see what I'm saying? You have people out there that do shit like that and say shit like that. We already know. But people, like I said, who got eyes to see and ears to hear this information, when you touch a tree, right? See what I'm saying? When you touch a tree, you get information from that. We knew that if you had an ancestor, you see that? Come on, man. You know what time it is. But it's that real information. You see what I'm saying? Like, hey, what can I say? But anyway, so we already knew that if you had a loved one, a family member, or somebody, a friend that passed away, depending on what that soul was attached to, like if that soul was attached to like a certain house or a certain materialistic thing, oh shit, I almost tripped. Or if that soul was connected to like, or not connected, attached to anything in this material realm. Usually what the person would do when that person passed away, they would go to that house. Like, let's say your dad or your mom or, your friend or anybody, they had a house that they loved, or they had a certain store or restaurant that they loved. When they pass away, that soul would linger in the area where they like, or sometimes it'd be trapped in that place that they liked or they was so attached to, because you're not supposed to be attached to things in this human world, blah blah blah, but that's just what comes with a world of duality. And sometimes you have some souls, what they call free spirits, or people that's just not attached to anything, or they might not have, their materialistic attachments may not be that heavy on that soul. You see what I mean? Like, each soul has set a different code of information. So some souls can handle more, some souls can take less. You see what I mean? But basically, the whole point is you have some people, some souls that passed away, they wasn't attached to anything, right? And since they wasn't attached to anything, usually when that soul passes on to the spiritual world, that soul will go right back into Mother Nature, will go right back into the trees, will go right back into the animals, the living things. So if you ever wanted to talk to a loved one, that passed away, or a friend that passed away, you would go to the biggest tree that you can find, either in the neighborhood that they lived in, or just even in your neighborhood. But usually you would go to the biggest tree you could find, or the tree that was next to their house. Because basically that soul goes into the biggest trees, because our ancestors, their spirits goes back into the trees. Not all of them, but a lot of them, their spirits goes back into the trees. So when you feel that positive divine connection when you're in nature, like how I feel now, it's like a radiant energy of just positivity. You see what I mean? And like, I can feel that it's something here. Like, how like you could feel, like, how, for example, if you went into a haunted house, or you went into a place that it looked haunted, or somebody died here in a horrific way, that soul would be trapped there, because it's like they never got justice for what happened to that soul. So they would linger around just angry in that area. So when you walk into that haunted house, or you walk into that house, whether you know it or not, somebody passed away in there and it was horrific, that soul will still be in there. You could be like, damn, I feel like a negative energy in here. I feel some weird shit that's in here. Like, how you be like, I just feel like it's a spirit or something in here. That's the same thing with nature. Like, when you're in nature, you could feel like it's a spirit here. It's spirits lingering around us. You can't see them because your pineal gland is calcified. That's a whole different story. But you can't see them, but you can feel them. You see what I'm saying? You can feel energy. That's what people, they always take that for granted. They try to go off, if I can't see it, then it's not real, or seeing is believing, blah, blah, blah. But feeling is believing as well. If you can feel the energy, it's real. You see what I'm saying? Like, when your hair stick up, when you drive to a certain place or some shit like that, and your hair stick up, and you feel that shit, yeah, that's what happens. Like, it's a boost of energy. Like, for example, like I said, when you're in Mother Nature, you feel like the spirits around, those are positive spirits. Those are your ancestors. If you ever want to talk to somebody, like I said, that passed on, go to Mother Nature, because Mother Nature is a living thing. It's a living entity. You see what I mean? And the forces of nature is deep, just like the stars. The stars in the sky, those are people, aka starlings, or soul beings that have passed on many, many, many years ago, but they have transitioned back into the star form, which is like, it's like soul power, basically. So basically, like, you're a starling. When you reincarnate back onto this earth, you become an earthling. You get it? A starling and an earthling. That's a star that was up there, just waiting to, be reincarnated back into a human body. They're starlings, right? But now, when they're in this physical world, they call us what? Earthlings. It's the same shit. You see what I'm saying? As above, so below. As within, so without. You see what I mean? So That's that divine presence and that ether that you feel when you're walking on hikes, trails, anything that has to do with nature. You feel a positive energy. That's the same thing. You walk around negative entities, or you walk into like I said, a place that was haunted, or it can be haunted, whether you know it or not. Somebody died in there horrifically or whatever. You gonna feel like, hey, it's a motherfucking spirit in here. Like, I can feel that shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can feel it's a negative presence in here, right? So, like I was saying, just to kind of touch back on that, so you get what I mean. But like I was saying with the stars, we knew that at night when you can see the stars in the sky, that's just another way of you seeing the ocean. If you ever looked in the ocean at night, it looks just like the sky above, except, you know, you see the wrinkles and all that shit, the waves and the water, blah, blah, blah. But you get what I'm saying, the overall concept. So you manifest into the stars, right? We knew that we had ancestors on this earthly realm, and we had ancestors in the astral realm, or the etherical realm. You see what I'm saying? Up there, you know, the stars. And we knew that if we could tap into ourselves, that we could harness the energy that's on this planet, and we could harness that starlight energy, or that soul energy, right? That soul power energy. It's all the same thing. These are the forces of nature. Mother Nature is not a game. It's not a joke. Mother Nature is the living entity that provides everything for everybody on this planet. And we have been taking advantage of Mother Nature for a very long time. Shit, you know. She's angry. You see that? Mother Nature is angry. Mother Nature is basically reacting, right? With all this shit that's going on the planet, just to kind of, you know, hit you with some shit that's going on in today's time. Right now, like, you know, you had the fires here in Australia, then you had fires in Brazil, you know, you had fires in California, all this stuff, right? And volcanoes erupting, earthquakes going off, you know, tsunamis, typhoons, all this stuff. A lot of people say it's HAARP, blah, 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 whatever. And I say 50% is, but really, I honestly don't really want to get all into that HAARP stuff, because I don't really want to say I believe that, because Mother Nature is reacting to the shit that these people, as in these corrupt government officials, not everybody in the government is corrupt, but to the ones that's corrupt and that's fucking shit up, Mother Nature is responding back to it. Mother Nature is fighting back. That's why you're seeing these plagues. That's why you're seeing these earthquakes, these hurricanes, these typhoons, all this different shit, because Mother Nature has been getting destroyed for a very long time. Mother Nature has been getting suppressed for a very long time, but you can't see that.